Please excuse the mess. The SonarFeed appears to be having a few difficulties.
Welcome to SonarFeed, episode 164. Let's go.
Thank you, Hugo. It's good to have you back. You were sick last week, and
I know, man.
I didn't have the chutzpah to do that or to try to attempt it.
You got
I didn't
this.
want to. I didn't want to like.
You can.
Maybe I'll practice. Maybe I'll practice when you're not here.
You don't need no practice, man. Just go with it.
So here we are on episode number 164 of SonarFeed. We've been doing this for almost 4 years now. And tonight we're graced with the honorable presence of Keith Costigan, the play-by-play voice for the Seattle Sounders here in 2016. Welcome in, Keith. Good to have you on the show.
Bienvenido.
Thank you. I'm just curious. It's the 164th episode, and I've waited this long to get a call. So no worries.
Well, we had to wait a little bit. We wanted to make sure you were official,
okay.
and I wanted to listen to you call a game first. I had to make sure, and you did good, so you met approval. So my name is Aaron Riley, aka Sonar Riley.
My name's Hugo Garcia, aka Mi Vida Seattle
on Twitter, and then of course Keith Costigan at Keith Costigan on Twitter. So welcome in, and then over here, we're off camera. We have our producer.
Hi.
What's your name?
Mark.
What's your Twitter handle? SSFC Fody 13.
That's why he's off camera, folks.
So he's a really good producer, as you can tell. There's a reason why he's over there.
Well, he's focused. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. So tonight we're going to learn a little bit about you, Keith.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the game yesterday, and then obviously you've come in with. I thought you had a great answer on Twitter. Someone said you have very big shoes to fill, and your response was, "Well, I brought my own, so that's a good thing." And that was, I thought, one of the things that for me I loved is that you've taken a very good approach to some of the folks that are less than happy, maybe, with changes, because no one likes changes. Everyone likes.
Nobody.
They're used to what you're used to. So, but we'll learn a little bit about you and all that kind of good stuff.
No, sounds
and
good.
Anything you want to talk to.
Yeah.
We'll take questions here in the chat room and some live ones always as well.
Okay.
So, let's just dive in. Who is Keith? Go back as far as you want. We've had some people go back to birth. Like Charlie Lyon was on last week, and he went back to birth.
Okay.
It was pretty funny. I go, start where you want. He goes, well, I was born on May 13th. But so whatever you want.
That could get really deep. No, I'm from Ireland originally. I think most people know that. Grew up in Dublin. Big Liverpool fan growing up. Dublin and Liverpool are two cities that have strong links, strong ties together. Played a little bit in League of Ireland, recognised that, it wasn't a league for me, recognised my own ability level, that, I wasn't going to go over to England and make a ton of money or anything like that. So decided to go on a scholarship. Augusta State first, Cal State Bakersfield second. Went on to play in the USL, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Wait, you played the USL?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So... I went to college for I was a finance major. Didn't know why I was a finance major. Just was a finance major. But somebody, I'd played with a Trinidad player. A commentator approached me, Nick Webster, and said, "Hey, a Trinidadian player. Why don't you talk to him about the game? Oh, hey, would you like to call the game?" And spiraled from there. That's
cool,
that's kind of the short version of why I'm in the position I'm in right now. Yeah,
that's awesome. So how did you the relationship with Liverpool? How is that relationship between Ireland and Liverpool so close? I don't know much about it, but I know you're a hardcore Liverpool fan.
Yeah, no, it's two very workmanlike cities. Two sets of people that are very proud of their city. I think a lot of times too, dock workers, where a lot of people laid off, similar kind of situations.
Right.
Tough, but you have that community mentality. I love watching the Boston movies over here.
Oh, really?
Because it reminds me of home. It reminds me of, even though we don't have that much, we have each other kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's a boat that goes from Dublin to Liverpool.
Oh,
back in the day, it's a 40-minute flight, but back in the day, I would go 8.5 hours on the boat across the Irish Sea, which is like the worst sea you've ever been on in your life.
8 hours?
8 hours overnight. Friday night to Saturday morning to go see Liverpool, then come back Saturday night because you don't have that much money back
Yeah.
then to stay in hotels and stuff. So I've always loved the club, and always will love the club.
So breaking into like a little bit of a present before we go back to more
Sure,
of the past.
sure.
So you went down on Sunday to one of our favorite pubs, Doyle's,
Yeah.
down in Tacoma, and hung out with some of our friends.
Yeah.
Chris and some of those guys down there, the LFC Seattle group.
Sure.
So how was that for you coming over here? Was that a cool experience to do?
No, it was all Liverpool lost.
Yeah. Well, okay. Okay, I forgot about the result. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But prior to that,
No,
they won.
look,
they took out Man U, I think.
Man U
On
on
Wednesday.
in
night.
the Europa.
That was good.
right.
That was good. But no, it was fun. I'll be completely honest. When you're dealing on Twitter, like I said, 90% of the stuff has been positive. But I always want to put myself out there because I have nothing to hide. I'm honest about everything I say. So you walk in and you're still like, oh, is there going to be one person that's going to, But everyone was great. Somebody bought me breakfast.
Great.
So nice.
Anytime you get a free breakfast, it's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
What was it?
But, English breakfast.
English
Yeah.
breakfast.
Everything.
Yeah.
I probably should lay off English breakfast. But no, look, it was great. The guys there, you can tell the passion. We talked a lot about Geiger, so you can imagine what that conversation was about.
Yeah, we'll go into that a little bit.
I
Yeah.
better not say anymore. I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay, yeah. We won't ask you then. We'll let you not talk.
But yeah, no, it was good. It's again, if it's not. I'm sure some people will say, "Oh, you're going down." No, I want to watch a Liverpool game,
Yeah.
and I generally like watching Liverpool games around Liverpool fans. So it was good.
Nice, man.
Very good. Okay. So let's talk. Let's go ahead and hit off on. So you played obviously with our rival
Yeah.
to the south.
Yeah.
Back in 2001-2, I think,
Yep.
wasn't it?
Yep.
2001 and 2. But back when they were in the USL
Yep.
USL days. So I talk a little bit about that period of time, like playing for the team. You led the minutes.
Yeah.
You set up a couple good goals.
A lot of assists
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
defender.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't defend very well. That was the issue.
Yeah.
But Bobby Howe told me. I think Bobby lives in Seattle now. Bobby told me if you could only defend, you'd be a good defender. So,
I love it. That's great.
yeah. No, look, I was at a college. I went up. I tried out. Leighton. You guys know Leighton O'Brien. Leighton
Yeah.
played with Seattle
Yeah.
USL.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So myself and Leighton were at this kind of tryout for Portland, and they called me back and called Leighton back, and they invited us both into preseason. I happened to go out to Tennessee, and Tennessee was in the league at the time. Nashville Metros, I think their name was, and they offered me a deal. And Bobby called and was like, "Look, we're going to offer you a deal here." And I said, "Yeah." I called Leighton, and Leighton was like, "I got a deal in Seattle. I'm not coming in for preseason. I'm going to sign there." So I signed, a young kid out of college, not much money, enough to pay your rent and buy food every week. And at
Keep
the end of
following
the,
your dream. at the same time.
exactly, it's a dream. So at the end of the season, I'm going back to LA to coach to earn money. You're not coming back with any money in the bank, but.
No.
Still, I think everyone will agree. Like, you're in college and you don't have money, you still look back sometimes as those are the fondest times. And I enjoyed it. The people there were great to me. I was playing at a level that I could play at, not above it, not below it. So it was challenging for me, but I done well. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my
Makes
time
sense,
there.
man.
Yeah, that's good.
Digging back a little bit further from that, how did you end up with a scholarship to a university in the States, especially in Cali? That's a long way from Dublin.
Well, I came initially. One of my friends went to Augusta State on a golf scholarship.
Oh, okay.
Augusta obviously has the golf ties, and there's a couple of schools in Boston who were looking at me. And I said, look, if I'm going to go, why do I go to Boston? That's like leaving Dublin to go to another part of Dublin. Let's go the whole hog. And so I says, I'll try Augusta. So my friend moved on after 2 years, and I was like, this English guy was there, and he goes, I have a friend in California. Do you want to go out there? And I said, yeah, I'd love it. That'd be a good challenge. So ended up going out there, and again, loved it. And you get exposed to different styles of soccer, because in Ireland it's very route one, long ball, and in America I feel like from the youth level they're trying to play. So it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
What was your first experience in being in the South? Because that's a big difference from Ireland. I'm assuming. Sure. What was the?
Yeah.
Well, that too.
I won't swear. I can't swear.
You can.
Yeah.
You
Well,
want.
no FCC. No FCC.
We are a PG-13/R. We try and
Okay.
keep it semi-clean,
Yeah.
but no, I mean it's.
Well,
go ahead.
Being Irish growing up, it's certain words are part of your vocabulary. At the dinner table, and So I remember going into a class in Georgia, and this teacher was very tough. Like, I want this, I want that, and I turned around to a girl and I went, "This teacher's a bit of a da 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 da. And she went, oh my God, potty mouth. And I was like,
Oh, this is when you were in.
yeah. And I started laughing. I was like, no, you know what I mean though, right? And she was like, oh my God, why are you saying those things? And I always remember going, I have to be careful. Like, and
Yeah.
you know, I talked to some of my friends and they were like, oh dude, like, yeah, we get it because it's soccer, but not everybody here talks like the way you do, you know? And I'm like, wow, I got to be careful with that. Yeah.
Yeah. At home, we have soccer stadium rules.
Sure.
And home rules. And so
Okay, that's
Daddy breaks it all the time.
Yeah, I
But,
remember that. I remember that with Penny.
I know. Yeah, it's hard to believe. I know. Yeah.
So what university was it again in
Yes.
Kelly?
Cal State Bakersfield.
Cal State
so
Bakersfield.
yeah, like a couple of hours north of LA. Not really a California style feel. More
Yeah.
of I've been to Texas. It almost feels like Texas there,
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
California.
I would agree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Never would have guessed that.
So one of the good friends on our of the feed, she's from Portland. She's a Portland fan, the Timber
Okay.
fan. She's a Timbers TA member. She also has claimed that ECS is far greater than the TA will ever be.
Okay.
Yeah.
That what?
Yeah.
That what?
The bet she lost with Jeremy, where she claimed that ECS was far better than TA. She just asked the question, so I'll let her. The Portland Timbers, great team or greatest team? And see, it's a trick question.
yeah,
It's a great trick question.
This is like good or great, and I say good, and then you're like, oh my God, he thinks they're good.
Exactly. No, but you know, I mean, I'm bringing that up because back in 2012, you were asked a question about your Timbers. You know, you were a Timbers fan. Obviously, you played for the team. And you became a Timbers fan because you wanted them in the MLS since you played for them.
Yeah,
that was one of your things you wanted.
I mean, if you want, we can address that now because I know.
I think we should.
I know
Let's
it's
go into it
probably
right
a
now.
question.
Yeah.
Portland is a place that gave me a chance to play.
Right.
If I wasn't indebted to anybody that gave me that opportunity, I don't think I'd be a good person. I earned very little money there. I walked away with nothing but great memories. Not like a big car or a fancy house or anything like that. I will be forever indebted to the opportunity there.
Yeah.
But as I've said before, I played with Darren Sawatsky.
Yep.
Darren played Seattle, Portland.
Yep.
The first game I wanted to play was Seattle. Because why? Because it's the rivalry.
Yeah.
You know, fans were going to talk, smack to you. And he was the same. He came to Portland and was like, I can't wait till we play Seattle.
Yeah.
And then he's back there, and you could see it in his eyes before the game. He's like, I'm going to smash you in this game.
Yeah.
So I got to know the rivalry. But I'll never. Again, I'm now with Seattle. I made that decision, and again, we can get more into that. But that will still never take away from the time that I had. And I think if it did, you'd be wondering in 5 or 6 years what I'd be saying about Seattle down the road if I was working somewhere else. I make every decision with my heart.
Right.
And that's why I made this decision to be here.
There were 5 people on the broadcast on Saturday night, and 2 of them have played for the Timbers. Zakawani being the other one, obviously, right? So, and we love Zakawani, and he doesn't get anything you get.
Yeah.
You that's back to your shoe comment.
Yeah.
You had to quote unquote fill big shoes, and you've done a fantastic job so far in embracing it. And it's to me, it's funny. There are a lot of people who are very upset about it and very hard about it, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Yeah. It's absolutely correct.
Look, again, and I know other stuff about my other commitments and stuff will come up, but
we'll talk about that in a minute.
For me, Arlo. Is someone I talk to. Ross, I don't know, but they're both great commentators. You can't commentating is not. You can't quantify it. There's no league table.
Yeah.
There's you like someone or you don't, and you can't say I'm better than someone else. I have my style. I think I'm good. Other people have hired me, so I mean, I guess I'm doing something right. I don't take myself too seriously, but the idea that I come into this not knowing what this rivalry is about. No disrespect to anybody that's worked at this club, but I know more about this rivalry than anybody else.
Yeah.
I do.
You do.
And I knew exactly what I was doing. So the idea of, hey, let's go hire somebody from Scotland or England or Ireland and bring them over. So what history did I have knowing this?
None.
Again, and I would have nothing against that. You're hard to commentate, but the idea that I don't understand or I didn't know what I was getting into or anything like that is silly. I know what this is about.
Exactly.
And I've made that decision. So
right. And that's where. So I'm a big rock. I told you before the show a little bit. We talked for a minute because I wanted to get you some food and let you chill.
I got wings.
Yeah, I got wings.
Which
They're
were
good
good.
wings, aren't they? Yeah.
Very good.
Those are really good wings.
Good for
legit.
you.
Yeah, really legit. So, but I wanted to just make sure that we talked for a brief so that we could know each other. But I love Ross. I fell in love with Ross. Arlo was huge. We loved Arlo.
Yeah.
I think my first tweet ever was about Arlo.
Yeah.
That I was flying to Brazil, and I got it. The airplane I was on was one of the early ones that had Wi-Fi back in like 2012, 11, 12. And I'm like, I'm listening to Arlo White at 35,000 feet. This is the best thing ever, right?
Yeah.
And then he left, and we got Ross, and he was a fantastic voice.
Yeah.
I like hearing a good voice. I listened to you last night. I told you I think you're great, but you can't be Ross. You can't be that.
Yeah.
And the funny part is, some of the people that I think are unhappy with the decision don't even like Ross's style and never listen to Ross. And so that's the ironic and the funny part to me is like, we're emotional fans. We're 7 years into in the MLS, right? We're in our 8th year, right? And we're trying to be the best.
Sure.
We're starting out 0-3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like
you
haven't scored any goals yet.
Yeah.
Beth wanted me to say that. You really need to score a goal. I mean, joking, of course.
I got to get better service now.
Yeah. But it's I mean, it's life. It happens. Things happen. So I appreciate you will be willing to talk about it.
Yeah,
Open
for
up
sure,
about
man.
it.
And being so, direct with all the questions and everything's going on. I mean, kind of learning a little bit more about how you got to where you are today. It seems like your playing career started with Portland, really. You're professional.
Yep.
So, we talk to a lot of young kids here from the academy, kids that are just starting off their careers, and you could tell, the joy and how they talk about it's an experience that you're living a dream. So it makes sense that part of your career was so impactful. And of course, you're not gonna diminish it or talk bad about it.
Exactly.
But having said that, the game, and this is not lying. This isn't like company line or whatever. I'm looking forward to beating Portland this year. I'm in Seattle. I'm looking forward to going. Hopefully down there, I'm sure I'll get some views. I'll enjoy it. I'm looking forward to hearing a dead silent Providence Park when we get a win.
Yeah.
Because why else would I come to Seattle?
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. And let's be honest too. Seattle is an attractive market for someone like yourself who you are. You're in your career. You're trying to build your career up and come into a place like this. And if you can succeed, you've seen some success happen from other people.
Sure.
And it's a great opportunity for you to further your career.
Had you been to other Sounders matches before doing announcing?
No, I've been to CenturyLink a couple of years ago. It was in the summer. Everybody knows about it.
Nice.
When everyone's like, wow, the atmosphere up there is really good. So it's like, if I have a chance to get up to Seattle. I had a friend who was getting married up here at the World Trade Center downtown.
Oh, nice.
Really nice building. So we planned let's stay an extra couple of days as a Sounders game. So it was great. I'm a soccer junkie, so it's
I could tell, man.
You want to sample that,
And I asked that because I wanted to ask. You've been to so many stadiums, man. Just taking a look at some of your photos on Twitter. You've been to so many stadiums and matches and games. Just curious, which is your favorite stadium that you've been to? I mean, it's hard to say, but
I saw Liverpool beat Real Madrid 4-0 at Anfield in 2009. And
wow.
The atmosphere that night.
Yeah.
The Marca had a headline, Anfield EK, like and what? And the next day, the Liverpool Echo answered with, "This is Anfield." And the atmosphere, singing, like it's again, and it's one of the reasons I like the atmosphere with Seattle. It's not okay, let's sing now. It's not generated by it's natural. The fans are singing, they're involved, and that night Liverpool fans played as big a part as any player in getting that win.
Yeah.
So to be there was absolutely incredible. Anfield is always a stadium that will hold a place in my heart when I'm back there.
That makes sense.
It's.
How old were you the first time you went there?
I was 9 when I went there. Liverpool beat Norwich 6-2. I remember it. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Do you have any other teams that you follow besides Liverpool?
No, I mean. I
Like
what
Bundesliga. I wasn't going there. I wasn't going there.
I know.
International.
Look, that's a given. That's a given.
There you go.
But no, European-wise, no. I mean, I appreciate the atmosphere at Dortmund.
Yeah, I love Dortmund.
Barcelona.
That's my German team.
Barcelona, what they do and the way they play.
It's crazy how those three players can have so much chemistry.
It's hard not to enjoy the fact how they buy into it. I've covered a couple of Champions League finals and the work rate of the best players on the team.
Yeah,
and it's something you don't always see at other levels. The best player thinks he can take players off. So to see Messi, chasing back, and I remember they beat Real Madrid 5-0, and there was one stat where
Don't
he
remind me,
had
man.
I like that. That was a good
God,
game.
no, shut up, man.
I'm a Bark. He's a
a
Real
Real-
Madrid.
there was a stat in that game where he had regained possession 5 times for his team, more than anyone else on the field, and I'm like, that's Messi.
Yeah.
He's not losing it and going, someone else win it back for me. So those would be the teams that I look at. But Liverpool would be on a European team that would really
So
support.
talking about players, Messi and whatnot, who's your favorite player of all time?
all
As
time.
a kid, maybe. 'Cause it might be different as you grow up. But
As a kid, probably John Barnes. He was a winger for Liverpool.
Okay.
I've had the pleasure of meeting him and stuff, and finding out some funny stories about him. Just a great player. Like I like players that get you up off your feet. You're sitting in a stadium. The player that makes you, you're almost getting ready to jump up when they do something. Oba's another one. Like
Yeah,
really, right?
man. And he comes to touch it.
But John Barnes was that for me growing up. Kenny Dalglish, obviously. I'm good friends with Paul, his son. So those would be the 2 players that for me that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up as a kid.
Nervous, you got like fanboy status.
Oh, Robbie Fowler too.
Okay.
Wow.
So let's talk a little bit about your whole play-by-play color
Style.
career, kind of where
Yeah.
you are. Talk a little bit about where you've been and where you're going and where you
Sure.
want to go to.
Yeah.
Because you're doing color for MLS on Friday nights.
Yeah.
With I can't remember his name, and I'm
Ramses Sandoval.
There-
He would have
thank you.
been proud of your intro, by the way.
Oh,
Ramses has got some lungs
Yeah, he
too,
does.
and this guy
Nice.
matched it right there. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna look
don't
him
know if
up.
you know, but Hugo does the S2 PA announcing.
Oh, okay.
So-
Okay.
The goals, lineups,
Nice,
Yeah.
nice,
all the
nice.
announcements. It's fun,
Yeah,
man.
and so it's fun for us to have that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be at some of the S2 games this year, so
Nice.
I'll,
Yeah, so you'll be hearing his voice.
yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about your career
Sure.
in the play-by-play / color. And,
Sure.
And I'll be honest with you. I told you earlier I like your play-by-play style. I like you better last night, when I listened to
Yeah.
you, the replay,
Yeah.
than I did in color. I think you're
Sure.
fit. You're good at color. You're fine.
Yeah.
But personally, I like your style better as a play-by-play than I did as a color.
No,
just throwing that out.
Yeah. No, that's fine. No, I did a lot of TV work first. A lot of interviews, a lot of reporting, and they used me as color. It was something that I never really said because I played.
Yeah.
Whatever limited. Guillem Balaguer is a friend of mine, a reporter in Spain, and I remember I played down my playing career, and he was like, "No, you received a paycheck to play.
Yep.
Always say that you were a former professional." So I do. They use me a lot as color. A couple of years ago, a lot more. Brian McBride comes in, and all these great ex-players, Casey Keller, who just can analyze the game and do a great job with it. And I sat with my boss and said, I want to do play-by-play. And he said, I think that would be a good career move.
Yep.
Let's go in and do some games behind the scenes, see how it sounds. They liked it, and it's kind of fast tracked. I mean, I've been blessed to do some really, really, really big games. Bayern Munich.
Man. Yeah.
I've called Liverpool games. Just blessed to immediately hit the ground running with that. Former friends. Max Brados at ESPN calling me out saying, wow, I'm loving Keith as a play-by-play guy. And those things are important to me because your peers telling you is important. But look, I'm a student of the game, and I also think I bring something different to play-by-play. No other play-by-play guy has a UEFA A coaching license. Not really many play-by-play guys have played.
Right.
So I think it allows me not to be opinionated because I don't think you don't need my opinion constantly and then the analyst's opinion constantly, because then it's like we're taking turns to talk.
Right.
I'm seeing things and I'm asking Casey, is that what he's seeing? Or whoever my analyst is, what games I'm working at. And I think that works out quite well.
You did a
that's
good
what
job
I
of that
noticed.
this
Yeah,
week.
that's what I
Yeah.
noticed. So I watch when I can. I watch one half in Spanish
Sure.
and another half with the English broadcast. And that's something I caught right away. You could tell that your playing experience and your coaching experience and describing the movements, everything, you could tell it's different than our previous announcers and play-by-play guys.
Yeah, no, I look, I don't try put my style on anybody else. I want to be myself, but I get when I'm listening to commentators sometimes, and they don't have a feel for the game. I'll go. They'll throw in stats at times when I'm like, that's this club was founded in 1892. They've won 14 and I'm like, why are you telling me that right now? Let the game is the story. So I'll do notes. I'm over prepared. I have things. If the game is dead, we may talk about history, shows whatever. But if it's the game, I'm just going to talk the game. I very rarely go back to my notes because I'll see something and I'm genuine. Like with Casey, and I'm not just saying this. You guys Casey analyzes a game like no other. So I'll see something. I'll be like, Casey, is it a case of Dempsey has to get further forward and he's on it and he's so concise and it's, I think that adds to it, from me being a play-by-play guy.
It is funny. So Casey has been very controversial as well in the supporter community. To be quite honest with you, I mean, we loved him as on the pitch, but a lot of folks didn't like him on the broadcast because we had Arlo. And it was just Arlo.
Sure.
Yeah. And it was Calabro for the 1 year before that, which most people didn't really care about. I liked him because he's a basketball guy, and he was a local Sonics legend.
He was made for soccer, and he said it himself.
Yeah, exactly. But when Casey first started, and still some people call it out, he's not a homer, and people wanted the homer, and that's one.
I've got a few tweets
I've heard about that about you too.
Yeah, I've got a few. I got a few tweets, and someone said, "You're calling for Seattle now, so call for us."
Get excited,
and I guess it's probably a line that will come out pretty sterile, and I don't mean it that way. Supporters support, commentators commentate.
Right.
So I want to present you with the facts. Are we bummed that there's a loss? Yes. Are we going to say we're going to be Seattle centric from the point of how do we get better? Not where do Real Salt Lake go from here? We don't care.
Yeah.
We're interested in where we go from here.
Yep.
But if we don't present the facts, I don't think we're presenting a good broadcast. I really don't. I think last week Tyler Miller, no one wanted him. Everyone wanted Tyler to have a great game. Slight error on the second goal. It wasn't a foul, and Casey, has to say that. It can't be like, oh, we want the referee to call that, and then you go at the other end. It's like, no, he shouldn't call that. Like,
exactly.
You have to be consistent as a commentator. You may, we'll go out. Like the minute we're off camera the other night, we were like, boom, clear. Dude, we got to get a win, man. How? Like, it is, but we can't be like, we can't present ourselves like that. It doesn't provide a good broadcast.
I agree. It's funny because I'm a homer voice. I told you before the show. Growing up in Michigan, I had my one. We have the Seahawks. We've had just amazing voices. The Mariners. We've had amazing voices. The Sonics when they were here, they had amazing voices. And you get excited about that.
Sure.
And but again, I noticed that you got excited at certain things. And I felt you did. But again, I went in very critical ear, expecting not to like it because I wanted to kind of have that, damn it, I don't want it, because, but I came away thinking this actually is a good broadcast, and I enjoyed it. And you listened to this, you didn't listen to the first half. I'd recommend going back and listening to the first half.
I started to...
Yo puedo hablar en español también, un poco.
¡Oh, mira nomás!
Drop the Spanish.
Mira nomás, así que hablas un poco de español.
En Estados Unidos es muy importante hablar en los idiomas. Pero necesito practicar más veces.
¿Con quién practicas? ¿Con Max o con quién?
Con mi computadora, con Rosetta Stone. So I'm not sponsored either. Before you guys think, yeah. I have a lot of Spanish-speaking friends, so
¿Quién es tu favorito jugador latino?
Luis Suárez, me gusta, pero el Diablito, algo veces, pero me gusta este tipo de jugador. Muy pasión.
Sí, con muchas ganas.
That's awesome. I love it. Sí. That's great. Okay, so
tu español está bien, ¿eh?
Gracias.
Sí.
The whole time Aaron's just like,
I knew most of the words. That's all I know. I can't speak at all, but I can hear most of it. Brett Evans, who is Beth, she's a friend of the show, with the alliteration of Keith Costigan and Casey Keller, a lot of hard K's, right?
Okay.
So, when are you going to have a fun name for the broadcast? Are you guys going to have like a Benifer or come up with some kind of cute name or something that maybe
I would open it up to Twitter, but then
Good idea not to do that one. We'll skip that one.
We'll leave it. We'll leave it. Yeah.
Yeah, Costigan. Yeah. So, all right. So then, you're calling games for you're still doing some Bundesliga. You're doing some EPL, right?
No. I do.
Not EPL. Sorry.
Europa League.
Europa League.
Yeah.
All with Fox, obviously currently.
Yeah.
And then you're doing obviously the Univision Friday night MLS games.
Yeah.
And then you're doing the Sounders. So one of the things that came up was that you had made a comment about you're only doing the Sounders play-by-play.
Sure.
And then some people were like, what happened with that? And then you're doing MLS games. Was that always there? Or was that always in the picture?
I honestly don't know where if someone shows me that they misquoted me. Like, no, because I didn't say that.
Okay.
I called Univision games last year.
Okay.
I have an agreement with Univision. let's go back to when I got a call from Seattle in December.
Okay.
I was in England.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, Seattle call. It's not like, and like I said, I've had offers, and I'm not going to name the teams before in MLS. Would you do a broadcast? No. There's no conversation needed. I'm not going to do it. I'm not putting that burden on myself to travel and do, Seattle, hang on, I'm interested. Let's talk. We talked a few times while I was in England, came back, talked to my boss at Fox, and he said, well, I don't want to lose you. I want you here to do games. And I said, that's a big draw for me to call games up there. And he said, well, let's find a way to make it work. Let's go through the schedule. I'll ease your schedule here. So they took me off certain games at Fox. There's days, weekends I miss at Fox. Last weekend I missed at Fox to be here. So not to take a side road off, but some people have said, oh, you get more money. No. Balances out for me throughout the year. I miss games at Fox to be here. So I'm traveling a lot, but back on track, I came up here, I met with people, and I said that the conversation I had was, it wasn't necessarily an interview, it was a conversation. What do you want? Do you want someone who's going to give everything to the broadcast, or do you want someone that lives in Seattle who's a homer, who maybe isn't a national broadcaster, but the fans will love him because he's one of their own, and the consensus was we want to make the best broadcast possible, and I said, if that's the case, I can be involved. I don't know any broadcaster that could turn down the national broadcast that I'm on. There's nobody, whether it be past commentators. If you bring someone in here, a local guy or whoever, and he calls this season and does a tremendous job, and he gets a call to call a national broadcast, and he doesn't. You want to do it, and that's not a disrespect to Seattle. I'm on a national broadcast, and I went out of my way to find a way to make it work so I could do both, because I want to do it.
Right.
Because I want to do it. So, I guess the long thing is, at first, I'm thinking, do I want to give up everything? No, I'm ambitious. I want to call big games. I called Borussia Dortmund and Spurs last week.
Yeah.
I want to be involved with that.
And who won that game? I can't remember. Oh, Borussia Dortmund. That's right.
It was over. And I called with Brad Friedel, the next Tottenham goalkeeper, who, the game was over pretty early. But I want to be involved in those broadcasts. But I ask people that, I get people want someone that lives here. I understand that. And if that was possible, I would do it. This city's a great city, but there's so many games that I do down there. It's easier for me there to come up here.
Right.
Now, if you ask my producer, out of anybody who's worked with, who emails more, who's on Vancouver newspapers during the week to figure out what people are saying behind the scenes about, I am the most prepared of anybody I know. I live the game. So when it comes to the broadcast, I'm not showing up and be like, so Seattle, what's the name of the coach again? I'm prepared, and that's ultimately what I'm here to do. We're only covering 20 or 34 games, and that's that. For my ambitions, it's not. I want to call games. I want to call big games in Europe too, and to be able to do both is a dream. And if that offends people, I'm sorry, but if you have dreams and you're and you have a way of balancing them out to make it work, you would do it too.
So. It's true. That's we all have dreams. We all want to keep. We all want to do more. We all want to do better.
Yeah.
So, a side note question from me.
Yeah.
One of the things I've questioned about. So you called the game obviously here in Seattle today, and you'll do all of the games that you do live in Seattle.
Yeah.
Are you doing any of the away games as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. There will be some.
Yeah.
You'll be in the live in the studio.
We'll be in the. We'll be on the road. We'll be on the road. Yeah.
And then when you do the games like the Borussia Dortmund game, you were in the LA studio.
LA studio. Yeah.
With Brad in the stadium.
Yeah.
Or in the studio with you.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a remote one where maybe your color guy's not with you in the same studio?
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done that.
Wow.
And then you've gone to Europe though as well and called games live in Europe as well, right?
Yeah, when I've gone to Europe, if you watch the FA Cup this year, I was over there for the FA Cup third round. I did, but I was on sideline for them. I did Exeter and Liverpool. I did Manchester United. And
that was the draw, right? That was the draw.
The draw.
Oh my god.
Nuts, yeah,
that was crazy.
The fan base.
Yeah,
absolutely. Exeter fans were great.
I watched that.
Who are you? Liverpool. Yeah, it was fun. You look. I don't care who you are. Everybody loves to see David against Goliath. I'm cheering Liverpool on. It was nice to see them, but that little stadium, it was incredible. I did Man United and Sheffield United, and then I did Chelsea and Hartlepool. So some big games, some big stadiums. So I mean I've
What's the biggest game you've ever done?
Live, I did the one in Michigan. I know you said you're from Michigan. I did the one at the Big House with Real Madrid and Manchester United. So I got to be involved in that. And I always remember I had to do a hit right before kickoff, and 109,000 people screaming waiting for kickoff. But the broadcast is being held because they want me to do a 30-second hit. Well, nobody in the stadium is going to hear the hit. Nobody cares. So I couldn't hear what I was saying. So I'm going. And at the end, I said, "Did it come out?" And they were like, "Yep, sounded good. Bye, move on." It was that was pretty amazing because although I'm foreign, I have a strong affinity with the game over here and the way it's grown. And again, one of those where you look around and you're proud of what you see.
Ooh, you got me. I got a quick question. Sorry, it's gonna be a hard one too.
Okay, all right.
So
I'll take another sip.
Yeah, you have to. But you mentioned foreigner. I'm a foreigner too, so I get it. And I get this all the time, so I want to see how you've had. I'm sure you've gotten it before. World Cup final, Ireland versus the U.S. Who do you want to win?
Ireland, 150%.
Yeah,
it's
if
my
that
parents.
happens ever, the world is going to end. If ever Ireland, I mean, no offense to Ireland or
I'm calling you the day it happens. I'm like, dude, I love you. No, look, I go. It's weird sometimes when you move away. I don't live at home. And incidentally, my parents don't think I'm a bad kid, so that's for the Sounders fans who are worried about me not living here. Every time I go home now, I have a bigger appreciation for Dublin. You know, when you get older, you go home, and I'm like, I bring friends back or my girlfriend back, and it's like, I got to show you this. Some things that I'd walk by as a kid, I'm now standing and going, wow, I'm really proud of this country. So I love Ireland, but
I know that feel, man.
I love the US. Like I cheer on the US national team all the time because it benefits us all. And MLS is probably like no other league that everybody is cheering on the national team. You ask Liverpool fans, I'm from Liverpool, not from England. They could care less about the national team.
Exactly.
But here I do think there's a strong affinity to we want the national team to do well.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I mean, and I had the same situation recently. I just went back to Mexico. So I was born in Mexico, grew up in Guadalajara, born there, came here when I was 8. And I get asked that all the time, but I'm the same, man. It's going to be Mexico first, 100,000%.
Yeah.
But I also went back, and this recently because I was down there for the Champions against Club America. And the same thing, you really do appreciate, where you come from.
Sure.
And and I too, I'm grateful for everything that I have here, and I love having grown up in Seattle, man. I probably identify more with Seattle than Guadalajara now because I've spent most of my life here.
You can visit, but it's not a place that where you'd live and fit in as much as you do here. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, the one thing that does bother me, and not to belay, is when I meet foreign people over here that talk bad about the country. That annoys me about America. Like, I'll meet some Irish people who are like, Americans, I don't get it. I'm like, well, you're the one living. Like, this is great, Yeah. Like, we're all blessed. You get so many opportunities here. I love living here. I love the opportunities I get here, but I also love Ireland too.
Yeah. So real quick back into the I'm going to go back to the calling a game in a studio versus calling a game live.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's been on my mind for a long time. We have been in the CCL, thankfully, many years as a Sounders fan. And I'll never forget one of the first years when Fox had the contract and then they lost it and then got it back. There was a couple of guys, I can't remember who it was, but they were a couple of guys sitting in a room in LA, and they were calling Mike Faceto, who is about 5'7", and Taylor Graham, I think, was the other one. Wall. It was Tyson Wall. Who's like 6'1" or 6'2". It's quite a big difference.
Sure.
For like an hour out of it's like 60 minutes, they kept calling Faceto, who plays forward, Wall, and Wall, who's an outside back.
Sure.
They called him Faceto, and I'm thinking, what is it like for you? And so I've always been a little bit of I want them live because I want but I know in some stadiums you're way up there. You have a worse view than you would on the monitor.
Yeah.
Is it harder to call a game in or off the monitor, or how do you approach it? I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm used to it. Nowadays you have a lot more information. I used to do Copa Lib games off a monitor, and I didn't have the lineups until 20 minutes in. And sometimes the rosters were like all over the place, and you're like, it's like the best training. Like nowadays, like I'll have my lineups and I may look for the first few minutes, but I already know 5 minutes in. That's the left back. That's the general area. Every commentator makes mistakes, so I certainly won't dig on anybody on that. Like I have more of an appreciation for that now. But yeah, there's nothing like calling a game live, and some circumstances don't allow that all the time, whether it be budgetary or everything, and that's unfortunate. But I still think you can really do a great broadcast when you do it from the studio. But when you're there, and I did, the other night when the national anthem was being sang, I took a moment to look around, and I'm still appreciative of, I looked around, I'm like, this is a pretty big deal to be a part of this, not like patting myself on the back, but happy that I was there, so it definitely calling games live, there's nothing beats that.
So S Tobin 15 in the chat room here has a question. It's an interesting one. Keith, would you rather call a 1-0 Sounders loss to Portland or a 4-0 Liverpool defeat to Manchester United? That's a really tough. Exactly. Yeah. But I'm just curious. I think it's a good question. Actually, it's an interesting one.
It's like, who do you want us to kill? Your
mom or your daughter?
Son,
yeah, exactly. Our daughter. Yeah, right.
Like, I probably would have left the Liverpool game if I'm calling it, and they've gone 1 or 2-0 down. I mean, I've called Liverpool games where they've lost. If I'm calling the game, one thing as a fan, I'll never leave a game. 3-0 down, 4-0 down. I will never walk out of a game. That's not what you're there to do. You can't do it because if a player did it, I would be extremely upset. So I'll never do that. To call a game, you got to grin and bear it and go through it. I called the Spurs Dortmund game at the exact same time of the Liverpool Man United game the other day, and my producer's in my ear and he goes, scoring update, Man United 1-0 up, and I'm going, and I got to talk about it on screen, but it's like, it's funny. I guess I'd hate to call both, but as a professional, I'd call them both through all the way.
Okay, that's good. Good.
I sat on the fence on that one, didn't I, bro?
So let's talk. We still have some questions to get to that are our funny, normal questions, but I have one more I want to ask.
There's a lot of questions, man.
And then I'm going to open it up here a little bit to the crowd too. Emily Cummings asks, "What have you been doing to get to know our team and players?" So like, and starting with you said you're a very detailed oriented, whatever. But how do you, what do you do to learn more, to be more understanding, and to have that knowledge?
I've been around the team. I was around the team, Mount Sac when they trained in LA. When I was up here, I had a long conversation, long sit down with Ziggy. First of all, not to be, I know Seattle. I've covered the league for a few years. I know a lot about Seattle. But I'm online every day in terms of keeping up on news. But I'll talk to Ziggy when I can when I'm here. And watch games. I rewatch games. The game we did the other night, I went home and rewatched it again. It was on late on Root Sports, and ordered a little bit of room service and watched it again. I mean, look, ultimately for me, I don't think as a commentator it pays to be like incredibly close to players, because then you can't call a game the way you really would like to call a game. Having said that, I talk like Christian Roldan is someone I've known a long time. I believe someone told me not to call him Roldan, or not to Roldan, it's Roldan. So he told me it's Roldan as well now, so that's good.
So how do you know him? Was it from playing down there?
Yeah, no. So I was helping at Cal State Bakersfield.
Yeah, okay.
He said a lot of jobs at Fox. You get paid well, and I asked my old coach at Bakersfield, do you have his assistant job opened up? And he's like, I can't pay. And I was like, let me do it. So I used to drive back and forth and do it, recruit for him. He saw Christian Roldan. I recruited Christian. We got accepted into the Pac-12. He committed. Then we pulled out of the Pac-12 and he decommitted. Yeah. So me and Christian I always have that quick eye at him.
Yeah.
He walked away on me. But it worked out for him. Like if you met his family, his dad and everything.
I've not met him yet, but everything I've heard is amazing.
You couldn't be happier for a kid who lives and breathes the game.
Yep.
And for me, when he got drafted here, I was so happy for him, because I know he'd made a home here. His brother's up here.
Mm-hmm.
That's unbelievable.
We were lucky to have him here. Like 4 days after that draft, he was on the show.
Yeah,
and you totally get that sense of
he lives the game, right?
Yeah. And he's smart. He's a super smart kid.
Yeah,
and and he actually had, I thought, a great game on Saturday.
Yeah,
watching it and live. I had because I like him. He's a good, smart young kid. I watched him a lot, and then I rewatched it, and it was sure enough, almost every play that I remembered, I was like, yes, okay, it played back the way
I saw it. When I liked the week before when he came on, and Plata was on the break, And Platt is pacey. I mean, for the best defenders in the league.
Yeah.
And he's small, so he's that. So Christian done a great thing. He just got in the line of his run and just out-muscled him and held him off. And I went, that's one of the top attacking players in the league. You've done that too.
Yeah.
And I was proud. Not, you know, when you see a kid when he's younger, like you're kind of proud. You're like, I like him. And Darwin's another kid I tried to recruit. Darwin never even responded to any of my emails, so Bakersfield wasn't apparently. So when I saw Darwin, I was like, I used to email you a lot. Yeah. He kind of laughed, you know. So it's nice to see Darwin, you know, make it to this level, and I hope over time he gets more opportunities.
Well, what players did you land that might be still in the league or that you're familiar with from recruiting?
This is going to get me in more trouble. I mean, my biggest recruit was Jassy Zardes. Jassy played for me in college. You know, one of the nicest kids you could ever meet. I remember a day up here. We came up to Seattle University. We beat them 6-2. He scored 4. And in the corner, I see this umbrella. And someone comes out and he went, Keith, Ziggy wants to chat with you. And Ziggy was over there. And he went, is he homegrown? I says, yeah. And Ziggy was kind of, you know, damn, you know, because. But yeah, Jassy would be the biggest. You know, I coach a lot of the USL kids. Richie Menjivar, El Salvadorian international.
You also coached the Chivas USA.
Chivas USA,
Academy. Yeah. How was that, man?
It was good. It was fun. Good people. I mean, I can say now, I thought a bad business model. You know, you have a certain amount of soccer fans, and you saying we're going to align with one team, so you're going to alienate all the American fans.
I thought it was a horrible decision too.
Yeah, but in terms of the people, you know, when you hear like maybe the owner said some things, I don't know, I didn't deal with the owner every day, but when you're seeing people day to day, and you're like, man, the club gets a bad rap, and there's like a lot of really good people here. Yeah. That's what I fell for, like the in the office people, like they were all good people. So it was a fun time coaching there. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so let's do this real quick. Are you still okay on time?
Yeah.
We're like 45 minutes in or so.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
So we're going to ask a couple of our questions.
People versus OJ's on tomorrow night. That's my favorite show. Monday night we're fine.
Don't worry, we'll get you home maybe for that. But we have a couple questions we always ask every guest.
Yeah.
And so they're a little out of left field. You're going to kind of be going.
But very important with our friends.
They are very important. Yeah. So I'm going to start out with the first one.
Okay.
Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Look at that. That was actually one of the quickest ones.
West Coast, Cali, makes sense.
Okay, good answer.
Makes sense, loyal to his region.
Either one we can handle. I mean, we like either one.
Introspective. I like people like that.
Yeah.
You know, Machiavelli, people like...
What?
No. But when people go back to it, like Machiavelli was famous for leading people from within.
Yeah.
And to get a pulse for people, even if they're not...
That's the most in-depth answer we've ever got to that question.
Having said that, I like Biggie too. But Tupac, Tupac.
Okay, favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Ooh. Take your time. Don't be so quick.
What's the name of the one with it? Is it Samoa or something?
Yeah!
They're good.
Great choice.
10 minutes are second, but Samoa.
Yeah.
Samoa.
That's good.
Yes, great choice.
This is kind of a newer question. He did. He said Samoas. Yeah. Oh, you asked him that? That's funny. So this is an important question. So think very, 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 very carefully.
I got nervous when you say that. You know that?
Socks and sandals. How do you feel about that?
Wearing socks with sandals.
When I lived in Georgia first, Outcasts were big.
Yeah.
And one of their sayings was like flip flops and socks. I couldn't do it.
You may have just won over the entirety of the Sounders community, and you lost me. So I wear socks and sandals,
like
nonstop. That's my thing.
It might be raining. He's still rocking his.
You big boy and Andre, and then.
So because Lickett asked to follow up on that one. How bad are people that wear socks and sandals? Which you don't have to answer that. It's okay.
I'll get into it. No.
You want to ask
favorite? Recently, you might have gone to an establishment that serves margaritas. With margaritas comes the greatest food item in the world. What is your favorite taco, filling-wise? The greatest taco you've ever had?
Tacos al pastor.
Good answer.
Incredible.
Good answer.
There's a place in I go to Playa del Carmen. I try to go there a bit, and there's a place. It's basically on the freeway. So it's 100 degrees, and you have all the cars driving by, which makes it 150. You're sweating bullets, and these taco Tacos al
Nice.
pastor there are like the best I've ever had in my life.
You're gonna want to go check out Chuki's Tacos on Broadway.
Chuki's?
They make pretty darn
You gotta
good
write this down for me before.
Chuki's Tacos. I'll
Oh,
send you a
Chuki's,
tweet.
yeah.
I'll send you a tweet. They're pretty legit. Oh my god, dude!
Oh my
so
god.
many tacos.
They eat so many tacos in Mexico.
22 tacos in one 24-hour period.
If you go to Mexico, you don't go.
Oh.
You don't look for pasta,
No,
right?
it's
You
so
know, it's
amazing.
All right, so Sarah, who's not watching anymore, she actually has a date night. Congratulations, having a
Yeah.
date night. Yeah, so she has a 1-year-old. So when you have a 1-year-old, you can get
And
out
has
for
an
a date
amazing
night.
Yeah.
company
It's
that
amazing.
is
Good for her. Good for her.
friend
for
of
sure.
of the show.
Big
her
friend of the show.
company. Yep.
Constellation and Company. Awesome letterpress.
Yes.
She has 2 questions here. Do you like Hush Puppies? And a follow-up, totally unrelated. Do you like Star Trek?
Hush puppies. Is that like the drink at like?
It's like it's the
like round cornbread.
I'm thinking of
thingies.
slush puppies.
slush puppies. Yeah, Hush Puppies are like the little cornbready. Like it's a big South. Like you rarely can't get a. I mean, if you go to the
Hush
South,
puppies.
some parts
Is
of
it
the South.
cornbread?
Yeah.
Oh, if it's cornbread, I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
fried
yeah.
cornbread.
Yeah, fried cornbread. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to try it. I don't want to. I don't want to say yeah and then have to backtrack.
It's
on
a
it.
it's a big thing in the South. Like
Yeah.
most restaurants you go to, you just
We'll
get
have
them.
it.
They
Add
just
a
like
fried
bring them to
okra.
the table.
Yeah.
Most of the places I've gone when I've been to the South. How about Star Trek? Do you watch Star Trek? Do you like Star Trek?
With the risk of offending anybody, I cannot stand Star Trek. Like,
Wow, that's
like,
controversial.
Yeah, like-
That's controversial. That's gonna get some tweets. That's gonna get some tweets.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like,
How about
yeah.
Star Wars?
Star Wars I can do, but
Okay.
I haven't watched any. Like the big one that was out.
The new one? Oh,
Yeah, I
it's
didn't
so
watch
good.
it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like, I'm a big movie person, but it's just, yeah, I watched them when I was growing up a lot,
Yeah.
and no, I'm not. I'd watch Star Wars, like if it was on, I'd watch it. But Star Trek, I'd be like, no, I can't watch that.
How about Batman versus Superman? Charmaine
Batman.
Moore.
Ooh.
Batman.
Batman, yeah.
What?
Okay,
Yeah.
good answer. How
Yeah,
about
really.
favorite show on Netflix? Britt wants to know.
I like Making a Murderer.
Yeah, that was crazy. God, that was crazy.
Like, but I feel like that's documentary show. I would say
Yeah.
Narcos.
Okay, I have not watched that.
Oh,
Is that
it's
good?
great.
Narcos
I haven't
is
Yeah.
watched
a good
that
show.
one yet.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to watch
Narcos
that.
is like is very good. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have more you want to ask about
Yeah.
your thing? Oh,
Go ahead.
Best movie that you've seen recently?
Spotlight.
Oh,
Oh, that was a
see
great
that.
movie,
Okay.
man.
Great movie,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
It's,
a great
um,
movie.
All right.
You know, I grew up in like a big Catholic country, and
Oh yeah.
you know,
I know about
almost
that.
like you hear about things. Did they happen? Did they not? And to see it out there, and it was incredible, and it was well acted, and
Yeah.
really good movie. So if you haven't
Okay.
seen it, you know, check it out. It's good.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
agree. It's an amazing movie. Amazing movie. All right, so I had one here. Which one was your? You're known as a prankster, as a player. I read somewhere that
Yeah.
you were a prankster. What was your greatest all-time prank ever?
I can't say some of them.
It's okay. It's just online. It's
You know, I left certain things in teammates' bags that they probably wouldn't want to find in their bag. You know, would be one.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, one, it's not that bad. You know, when I was growing up in Ireland, as a you know, just say at the academy, at the academy I was playing at, there was a guy who had to cycle a very long way to get there. So we stole the saddle on his bike, so he couldn't sit down on the way home, and he had to go up and down a hill. So like, like, like for 2 days we held on to it, and it was like, it's not funny anymore. My legs are really sore, and you know, it was like, yeah.
Pretty bad.
I thought it
pretty
was,
bad.
it was pretty bad. I was younger then. I stay away from it now. Yeah.
All right, so hold on one second. So
Yeah,
AZ Love Sounders wants to know, Top Pot or Voodoo Donuts?
Top Pot. What's Top
Or
Pot?
Blue
Top
Star.
Pot, you don't know Top
No.
Pot. It's a local donut place.
Oh,
It's-
yeah,
they're
we've
they're,
heard.
Well, see,
they're
I can't decide because
Yeah.
I'm not a big donut. I tried the mini donuts today
yeah.
down in Pike Place.
Oh, those are those
yeah, they were good.
Yeah,
they
those
were,
are
they
good.
were good. They're like,
Yeah.
because you have to order like a half dozen, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'll only have one, because like,
Yeah.
and then you're like, well, I'll have two.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw away four. I'll have three.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's
My
bad.
kids love that.
Yeah,
'cause
I'm
they
not
just,
going
like,
there again.
They do the old sugar.
yeah,
they
yeah.
pour it in,
It's
yeah.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
So they're good, but I'll try. What's the name of the other place?
Top Pot.
Top Pot. I'll try Top Pot.
It's a good. It's a
Yeah.
good. It's a good little. They have good coffee, good donuts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's okay, but like a Voodoo, If you're gonna go to a good place in Portland, Blue Star.
Yeah, Blue Star's way better.
Blue Star?
Blue Star.
Than Voodoo.
They're also in California, I think, actually.
I never went to Voodoo when I played. I don't know if it was even there, but I covered Seattle Portland last year for Fox, and I went to Voodoo because I randomly walked by and I was like, oh, I've heard about this place.
Yeah.
Tried it. I'm not like a donut connoisseur, so it's like probably lost on me, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
Who was the first player you ever interviewed? Like, big player that you're like, oh, man.
First player I ever interviewed? In America, probably Todd Donovan, I think. XLA Galaxy left back.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, in Europe, God, I can't even remember now. I honestly don't know. In Europe, I wouldn't know.
What was your biggest, like, mispronunciation or something that you're like, that you're like,
that I messed up on?
Yeah, biggest flop or blooper, I guess. Blooper.
I won't say who it was, but like we were doing sometimes you have to do meetings with MLS players.
Right.
On the national broadcast, you come in the day before and you'll meet. So we'd met with one and just say his name was John. He left and the next guy came in and I called the next guy John as well. And it was like a player that was playing on the national team. It was like one of those where I went, so John, and he kind of played along and I went, did I just call you John? So it wasn't on air, but it was pretty bad. Yeah.
So this is we kind of talked about it a little bit, but because you're doing all this stuff with LA, but Rave SFC asked a while ago and I missed it. Staying in LA, you're not going to move to Seattle at this point. There's no benefit, no point, right?
No, I mean, again, look, this week I'd be, or in a Europa League week, it would be, let's talk on Friday. I get all those notes. I'm on top of I'm on top of everything.
Yep.
I can talk to anybody, coaching wise or that I want, but I can't turn down the opportunity to call national broadcast games.
Right.
And again, if people are offended by that they have to understand that anybody that call Seattle games would want to call a national broadcast.
Absolutely.
But I do, and I stress that. Like last weekend, I had to turn down national broadcast Bundesliga games to be here. That's my decision to do that because I want to call. So I want to be here. I want to call a game. I selfish. When someone says, "Do you want that cake or that cake?" Can I have a bit of both?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like people are like, "You selfish." Like pick one. But right now, I'm lucky that I have good bosses at Fox.
Yeah.
And great people at Seattle too who feel that I add to the broadcast. So that's good.
Nice.
It's interesting. So Jerry wants to know if you could bring one player in MLS to Seattle other than Zardes, who would it be and why? It's a good question.
Well,
That is a good question.
And is it hurt?
that would be a nice easy one. It'll be a Sebastian Giovinco.
Okay. Yeah, good call.
I think again a player that gets you up on your feet.
Yeah, we'd all be okay. Yes.
A player that I covered Italy in the Euros in 2012, and he's just stunning player to watch him practice and you can tell he loves the game. You can tell when you watch him play, he loves the game.
Yeah.
You don't always get that with foreign players when they come over.
Yep.
But God, what a player to watch. He's so fun. Fun to watch.
When you were hired, or there was the negotiations were underway, we had a number 9 on our team that was a strong number 9, my favorite player.
You would get up on your toes.
Evan over here, a Gritty City Sounder. Were you upset when you found out that you weren't going to be able to call Oba's name or be able to call an Oba goal during your time here in Seattle?
Yeah. I think you look at the team and you're like, there's a lot of good teams. So Liverpool had Suarez a few years ago.
Yep.
And Liverpool had a good team, but Suarez was the icing on the cake. He was the finish.
Would you say he ate the cake?
Yeah.
You took a bite out of the cake?
I will tell you, one of the most misrepresented.
Yeah.
A complete competitor on the field to the point where he does ridiculous things.
Yep.
But off the field, you ask anybody in the club, the most down-to-earth family man.
Really?
Not a partier with his kids. Yeah, so.
No,
I heard.
wow.
I read that in a lot of Spanish publications.
But getting back to Oba, he's the one that finishes your chances. You know he's going to score goals. And again, you don't know what he's quite going to do sometimes. I always feel players like that. Sometimes there's a time in a game where you'd be like, why did he do that? Why is he trying that there? But then the next minute he hits one in from 35 yards and you go, that's our player.
Yeah.
I'm bummed, but good conversations today, and I know the club are actively looking.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
this is an ownership group that's not like
They're not going to rest on
they're
their
not going to
laurels.
rest on the laurels.
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
I saw you're friends with John Bush.
Yeah.
What did he tell you after that goal that Oba scored on him a couple of years back?
The best.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
John is like one of the most competitive people you've ever. I actually played against him, like just a competitor. Like, you know, maybe because he's a smaller size goalkeeper as well.
Yep.
And you have that little chip, like, you know, I want to prove to everybody, and I think he did prove to everybody in his career. But yeah, I mean, that's just one of those moments where you kind of go, you know, what can you do? What can you do?
Brett Evans again. Beth wants to know. Very important question for her. She asks us every week now. Do you have a cat?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm a dog person.
Another
So
good
am I.
question
Yeah.
on
Good
there
answer.
is
Dog person.
Dre Hicks. Sorry.
Dre, I actually know Dre.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He did talk
Keith,
about that.
in your prime, what current Sounder plays most like you?
Like, take away all of Jovan Jones' pace and half of his ability, and that was me. I played left back. I just used to go forward, and I could cross the ball. Like, I could deliver a ball into the area. That's how I got a lot
Left-footed?
of assists. Yeah, left-footed. So I like watching Jovan.
He's been a hell of an addition.
Yeah,
He is so good.
I could. So
Oh my God.
I think it's cool to say. So I'm in England in December, and a championship side, a very prominent championship side, called me and said, "What do you know about Jovan Jones?" And I said, "Yeah, Chicago Fire left back, very good, gets forward. Can he play at this level?" And I said, "Yeah, he most certainly can play at this level." And 2 weeks later, I hear Seattle Sounders have signed, and I told, like, when I came up here, I said, you guys got in ahead of some big. There was interest in Jovan, so to get him was a real coup for the club.
He's been clutch.
Yeah.
He's by far. I mean, you could tell he was very upset with the poor call from Geiger, and but handled it. I thought exceptionally well.
He did.
Dude,
He did.
he
came
waited
right
till this
back
point
Yeah.
to talk
and
about that.
just-
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. So Beth had a follow up to your earlier question. What Sounders dog do you like the best? Have you seen any of the dog pictures from the Sounders yet?
No.
So Stephen Fry has Wrinkle Wednesday,
Okay.
where he's
That's a
got the
very
big.
Oh, I
wrinkle-
did. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
That one's. I like that dog.
Sharpays.
Yeah.
Brad
Brad Evans.
Morris has the awesome Bernese Mountain Dog.
I've seen
which
that
is-
one as well.
Oh my God, the
So I
best.
just completely lied, didn't I?
Brad
I've
Evans
seen-
has
Yeah.
the golden
Yeah.
Coda. Yeah. Kodo. Sorry, not Coda. Kodo. Whatever. Kodo.
Yeah. I used to have a Cocker Spaniel. So if anybody has a Cocker Spaniel, I like that more. Out of those three, I gotta go with Stefan.
Yeah.
'Cause that dog
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
legit.
he's probably gonna give you
Yeah.
Okay. What Sounders player do you think should get a cat? Emily wants to know.
I always picture somebody evil with a cat for some reason. Like, it's always like you're rubbing it and you're thinking of like devious things to do. Who fits that bill?
EJ. Oh God. In the background.
Wow.
I could kind of see Clint with a cat like that.
Who?
Clint Dempsey.
Clint Dempsey.
I
Yeah,
can see Clint with a
I can
cat.
see Dempsey with a cat.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. A
Yeah.
tiger. Yeah.
Definitely more a
Graham with
tiger.
a
Yeah.
Dre Hicks wants to know in a boxing match, Keith, Tresson Merritt or Kenyon? I'm going to pronounce the last name.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So these are two. So Dre was at Cal State Bakersfield when I was there.
Okay.
And these two kids actually fought. Trayson is like the nicest kid you've ever met. Kean is like, you know, the kid that finds the nicest kid you could ever met and then bullies him and like creates a rep off
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I'm gonna say Trayson
Trayson.
because
Okay.
nice kids. I like to see them do well.
I love it. That's
Who's your
good.
favorite team in Liga MX?
Liga MX. I wouldn't say I have a favorite team. It's the one league that, you know, I haven't watched it and aligned myself with a team. Obviously, you watch the big games. Chivas America. Who's your team?
The greatest team in Mexican history, Chivas.
Chivas?
Guadalajara.
What was the score of the classic?
We got robbed. We got robbed. But they did come back this week and beat the number one team that had not lost at home at their new shiny stadium with the previous national team coach, and they beat them 3-1 soundly.
I tell you who I like, and he played against us a few weeks ago in Liga MX, and I'd like to see him in MLS is Darwin Quintero.
Damn, yeah, man.
Darwin's that player,
he
you know,
killed us.
quick,
God, he killed
pacey,
us.
like takes players on.
He killed us with Santa Laguna too, man.
He's the MLS killer in CCL. He doesn't consistently do it in Liga MX, but I think he'd be a great addition. To
I
any team,
agree,
yeah.
man. That dude's it's amazing how fast that guy is.
A good friend of the show. I have one rough question and then one good question for you.
Right.
Cowboy Dave on Twitter. Dempsey or Adi from Portland? Which one?
Dempsey.
Dempsey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even
Yeah,
a
not
question.
close.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got one.
And then, hold on, the follow-up to that one, not related, but just follow up from Cowboy Dave. Do you follow hockey at all? Do you watch hockey?
No,
And do you have a favorite team if you do?
No, I've gone to like a few games in LA, but it's gonna sound stupid. Like I can't see the puck, so just for me, it's like
Fair enough.
someone scored and I'm like, what happened? Like
Yeah.
yeah. But it's the one sport where I'm like, man, I respect the hell out of those guys. Like a lot of NHL players live in my neighborhood, so they're all cool people. Like from what I'm being told, like out and about, like real like regular people. Not like you see some sports where they get some money and they're like, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
No, you play a sport for a living. You're not, you know. And hockey people always come across as like down to earth. So
So I grew up in Michigan, so I'm a hockey fan
for
growing
sure,
up.
yeah.
And then for me, I was never really a soccer fan until 2008, 2007. So for me, it was an easy transition, though. It's a totally different game, but it's also very similar in a lot of ways.
There's an Irish. I won't say who. There's an Irish player who plays in MLS.
Yeah.
Who has become a very big hockey fan.
Really?
Yes.
You gotta look that up.
No, I'm good.
Speaking of Irish and Michigan,
Yep.
how'd Michigan do in the tournament?
They did really well. They won their play-in game, and then they lost, unfortunately, to Notre Dame. So, you know. But, hey, at least they won a game.
Do you have a
How was the Cougars?
catchphase or something that you're known for? Play-by-play or announcing?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I feel like. No.
Wait, careful now.
Yeah. No, like. Yeah. No, if it's not natural, some people come up with it, and it's like natural. Like if I did something like that now, it would just be like a cliche. Some people it fits. You know.
Yeah. I get it. Trust me, I get it.
You know, I talked to Rams about this. I love like Ramses does goals so well. I love it. I'm like, I could never do that. You know, it's like people are like, dude, that doesn't feel.
Yeah.
So,
you're trying too hard.
yeah,
I
exactly.
got it.
So S. Tobin wants to know, why does everyone in Liga MX feel like they need to chip the ball when making a pass? It's interesting. I don't know. I don't watch enough of
their
it.
skill level and confidence is so strong that they just have a good feel on being able to use a chip.
I feel like I shouldn't be the representative of League.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
actually,
it was
yeah.
mostly for him.
Yeah,
It was
okay,
mostly for
good,
him.
good.
Jesse wants to know, Emerald 13, what's your opinion on the amazing run of Arlo White's team, Leicester City, in the EPL?
I was,
that's right.
so
They're 5 points clear, even on games.
I ran into Arlo in January, so I'm in the director's area for Liverpool,
Okay.
and he's calling the game. I didn't know he was there, and then I turn around and he's like, he was trying to connect to Wi-Fi, and my phone showed up as one of the Wi-Fi things. So we had a
funny.
good chat, and I was like, dude, you're loving Leicester. So I don't think either of us at that time felt like it would go all the way to this. I filmed with Leicester. I interviewed Leonardo Uoya, the sub who always comes on, and the atmosphere around the club is exactly how it should be. They're enjoying it.
Good.
And if you don't enjoy it, it will stop. If you take yourself too seriously, hey, this is what we need to start doing. No.
Yeah.
Whatever you've done to now has worked, so don't change anything. It's fun. If Liverpool were up there, I'd completely hate them. We're not going to win the league, so let Leicester win it. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I just
Good
got
question.
hip to that story this week, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were.
Wow,
They're just
amazing
playing
story.
yeah.
They're just.
Yeah.
They're finishing. I think it's one of the things that the Sounders need to work
Yeah.
on a little bit. Is
You have two people who score goals, right?
Yeah.
In Mahrez and Vardy, they're both
Right.
going to score. And
Exactly.
Okazaki scored some big goals. So,
Yep.
yeah, look, you can have all the possession in the world if you don't have that guy who puts the ball in the
And
back
then
of
it
the net.
shows, man, that it's all about chemistry, man. If you
It
can
is.
get it, you can beat any team, man.
Yeah.
Good chemistry
Yeah.
can beat superstar-laden teams, man.
So a very good friend of the show who does the S2 broadcast. So he's the one who actually broadcasts the S2 games. So you can watch him online. Adam is a recently converted Liverpool fan.
Nice.
He's actually a recently converted.
I
soccer
met
fan.
I met Adam.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, I met him. I met him
He's
last
a
time.
really good guy.
Yeah,
and,
cool.
And he didn't do soccer before he started broadcasting it,
Sure.
and now he has become kind of like where I was, like in 2007, 2008,
Yeah.
where he watches nonstop.
Yeah.
What chant should he know as a Liverpool fan, and will you sing it or chant it for him so he can hear it?
No, I won't sing it because nobody wants to hear that. Fields of Anfield Road, where once we saw the King Kenny play and could he play, we had Highway on the Wings, we had Dreams and Songs to Sing, the glory around the fields of Anfield Road. That going around the stadium is electric,
Yes.
So look it up, Fields of Anfield Road, and you'll find some
Talking
good ones
about
on YouTube.
electricity, what is the greatest goal you've ever called?
Actually, one of the first games I did, a guy, Mark Burchill, scored to send Trinidad to the World Cup. And I was probably like, wow, this is nuts. To score that goal is incredible. Another goal I was involved. I didn't call it, but I had to come in right after. Was when Aguero scored late on to win the league for Man City. When they scored it too late.
Oh yeah.
I was on. God, I can't remember what, because Fox covered all the games at once, and I was on I don't know what network it was on, and that was nuts. So calling goals. The other night was fun. Because I felt that tension, at 1-0, and you're like, don't feel so. Players you lost to, you don't want them to drop their heads. When the ball hit the back of the net from even shits,
oh man,
it was like
so
the release was like, I felt like I felt like a fan. Like I felt like I was like getting.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable to see that.
Yeah.
And that was fun.
What a free
that was
kick.
a fun one.
yeah, that was amazing.
What a free
man.
kick.
I mean, and you know what I like though? Dempsey had taken it too, and it was set up for a right footer.
Yep.
So Dempsey has to say, you know what? This one's on you.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that Dempsey does that too, and that's a big part of it. Gerrard used to do it with Suarez.
Yep.
You have to do that, and even shit's obviously, he did the business with it.
Yeah,
so.
he did. That was so beautiful, dude.
We're
Did
kind
the
of
business.
wrapping up here. We're gonna have a few more questions we'll
Yeah,
ask. We'll do a quick call here
Sure.
in the line.
Yeah.
Evan had another question following up with being on a winter schedule. MLS is on a winter schedule. Ireland, the League of Ireland's on a winter schedule. On a summer schedule. Do you ever see them moving to a winter schedule? Do you ever see the unification, if you will, in FIFA?
No, I don't. Would it be good? Yeah, I think it would. It would be helpful when you don't lose players to national games, and you're not cutting your season in half.
Yep.
But at the same time, you have this you have your time right now, and to totally switch everything, there is a worry that not the real fans, but some of the other people. Look at a stadium. There's 40,000 people in there. There's your regulars, but there's also your fans who are like, hey, it's a summer day, I'm going to take my family to this. That's a reality of it at any level. There's a worry that might change. So I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
But I think it would be good.
Yeah. To have a unification. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a good question. So anybody else live have a question they want to ask? Anybody else? Question? Hey, Lisa. Questions?
Questions, folks? Any?
Anybody else online have any questions? It looks like one just came in.
Who's your favorite NFL team? Not a fan.
Yeah, I watched. I used to like Warren Sapp and all. When that Tampa Bay team, I saw them play against the Falcons when I was in Georgia. I liked how they were defensively, and not like a huge fan. I'll watch I become I like individual players. I like seeing the greats and stuff like that.
Nice.
Obviously the Seahawks, watching them the defense over the last few years, I do appreciate it. But
No
again,
question.
I don't know enough in depth about it to be this is what they do well.
Got it.
But anybody can appreciate good teams. So
For sure.
Okay, one fun question and one serious question.
Okay.
Jerry would like to know, what's your favorite beer? Do you have a favorite beer?
Favorite beer? Whew. I like Dos Equis.
Okay.
It's
Good choice.
Yeah, I like Dos
that's
Equis.
good.
Peroni. I like Harp sometimes. Yeah, along those lines. And any kind of beer along those lines. Everywhere I go, I travel a lot, I'll try get I'll say, give me your equivalent of, I'm a lager drinker.
Yeah.
So I won't go to Italy and order a Stella or something like that. I'll ask whatever they have there.
Local.
And
Yeah.
local beer. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
As a traveler, that's my favorite thing
It's
to do.
cool, isn't it?
You-
Yeah,
you go to a bar and you're like, I
Yeah.
want something like this.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
I'll travel
want
with
a
my
Bud.
girlfriend, and she'd
Yeah.
be like, "What is it you're drinking?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's actually pretty good, though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's kind of fun." Yeah.
Nice.
So this is I'm going to ask. Snap happens. Darla, a friend of the show, asked
Yeah.
this morning, and then Grandma to your right or your left. Sorry, all right, my right. Asked the question. What's your long-term plan? Do you have a long-term plan from Darla? Do you plan on continuing with the Sounders? And then Grandma wants to know, how long are you under contract for? If you can disclose how long you're under contract for.
Contract. It's just you can't really talk about it.
Yeah.
My plan is to continue to call games for Seattle as long as it's the fans are happy with what I'm doing. And again, I think, some fans may write in and go, well, we're not happy, whatever. Yeah. But the reality it is for me, it's the real fans that watch the broadcast and, take it for what it is, like someone that, wanted to be involved, made this decision, made some sacrifices too to be here. As long as I'm doing a good job and I'm wanted by Seattle, I want to be here. If at some stage, they say, hey, listen, there's somebody we feel is a better fit, I hope to be able to walk away and still be a fan, on good terms. I don't think I've ever walked away from any situation in my life on bad terms. So,
right.
I want to do it for 2 games in. It's such a difficult question to ask. It's you don't want to say forever, and then a year later, Seattle may decide they want a different commentator. That's it's part of the business. But I'm going to enjoy every game I call.
Good.
Like I've told everybody, I'm blessed to do it. I'm blessed to call these games.
It's funny because I find your answers on Twitter. You're talking to you tonight. Again, I only got to talk to you for like 30 seconds off the air, basically, and then now the hour and 20 minutes, hour and 15 minutes we're here. I like that. You seem like you're pretty genuine. I will say that as a Seattle, I'm a transplant to Seattle. Yeah. I grew up in the Midwest, but as one of the key critical pieces of advice, you're not asking for my advice.
Sure.
But I'm just saying, being as honest and upfront and as transparent about your feelings and who you are, and you've done that. In my opinion, you've done that tonight, and you've done that online from what I can see. Yeah. That's your key. Don't just say something to pander to the what the people want it. And again, I haven't seen that, so I'm not being critical. I'm just I get on a soapbox like every week. It's one of my little things. This is my mini soapbox, but it's a very small soapbox.
Where is it?
Yeah, it's right there. It's right below my socks and sandals. But it's just that's one of the critical things. Then to get with this community is be part of the community and want to be part of the community, and that's critical. You did that. You went out and watched the game with
not to like preach or I'm never going to come out and beg anyone to be like, hey, please like me.
Exactly.
You're in the public eye. Some people are going to like you, some people aren't. If you don't, you want to tweet me, so be it. Like if that makes you feel better, tweet me and tell me how bad I am or whatever. That's fine. But I made the decision to come here. It wasn't financial. I'm lucky enough to earn a good living at what I do anyway. This wasn't of like, when part of the process, somebody said to me, if we were to write this and, solely cover Seattle, it wouldn't work for me. I'm ambitious. I want to call games.
Yep.
So my boss in Fox, we had a conversation a while ago, and I said, I'm not about money. I want to be number one. Like I want to be the best commentator I can be. So for me, I'm at the number one, broadcast in the like I said, there's 3 nationals and then the Seattle Sounders. The broadcast, what they do here, like Steve Zakawani, Marcus Hannum, and Casey Keller, that's a regional broadcast. Come on, that's a national broadcast.
Yeah.
And I'm a part of it. So if you want to listen and give me a chance, great. If you don't want to listen, you know what? When you tweet me, remember that all I have to do is scroll down and see that you're angry at everybody else and your last 20 tweets too, so I don't take it personal. Some people you just can't please, but
can't please everybody.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I agree, man. Yeah. Just you're sincere, man, and like you said, being the direct, then you've done it. The situation you're in. We would all probably do the same thing that you did. To be honest, if we were in your shoes, man, we would love to announce for the best teams in the league and the nation for a sport. You could tell you're a soccer lover, lifer.
I knew like there'd be some blowback on it, and I feel like I've been open on Twitter. Some people might just switch off Twitter. I don't, but again, ask yourself, any broadcaster, like in my situation, like what would they do? Like I'm sorry, you're in dreamland if you think there's like a broadcaster out there who's like, I just want to do this and that's it, and like everybody's ambitious, so I want to be judged like everybody else is judged, and again, I'm happy to be here. I'm gonna live every game like you guys live every game, and I'm hoping for a successful season. I think we will have a successful season.
That's good. Okay, so last question from the audience, and then we'll wrap up. Sure. Mickey wants to know, you were one of the ones that broke the Clint Dempsey to Seattle news.
Yeah.
How was that? Was that like in your role at that time, not related obviously to the Sounders?
Yeah.
What kind of an event was that to have that kind of a caliber player come over and become an MLS?
It was huge news, but it was one of those things. I don't consider myself a reporter. I don't. Some reporters I know and I'm friends with. I don't really have that much time for reporters because they're used. hey, print this, say this.
Yeah.
I'm an insider. I have this information. Well, you were actually told what to say, and I don't think there's like Spotlight. There's investigative reporting.
Right.
That's a reporter for me.
Yeah.
The others are mouthpieces. So I happen to be somewhere where somebody told me, hey, you know, Clint Dempsey may go to Seattle, and I was like, oh, cool. And I never told anybody. I'm not like trying to break stories. So somebody happened to just write on Twitter, oh, Clint Dempsey seen in an airport, like LA Galaxy, blah blah blah. And I went, no, Seattle's the team that are trying to sign him, and it went nuts. Like, literally, I went. I can't remember where I went. I came back, and it was like Keith Costigan's trending in Seattle, and I was like, why? Like, what did I do? Like, so, but it was huge. Like, I mean, Clint wasn't like a player. Clint was producing at the Premier League level still, doing a very good job at the Premier League level. So, Seattle. Look, when I interview players now, I can't remember what play it was in December. I said, "You watching the MLS much?" And he went, "Yeah." He goes, I watch on Sky Sports on Sunday night when I can. I think it might have been Harry Kane. And he says, the Seattle Portland thing, it's pretty nuts up there, isn't it? And I was like, yeah. And it was cool because everybody knows about, and this isn't a disrespect to other teams, LA Galaxy, they say, LA is a great place to live. New York, what a city. Seattle, they talk about the game.
Yeah.
They talk about the game.
Right.
And that's the kind of player you want.
Are we breaking Harry Kane to Seattle? No, I'm just kidding.
you know what? He's a huge NFL fantasy player.
Oh, really?
So he goes to me, who should I play? New England offense or someone else? And I went, dude, I got to let you know, I'm Irish. I live in LA. You don't want my opinion on this. So.
All right, do you want to say anything last before we leave?
No, man, thank you for coming out and sitting down with us, chatting, and keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing a good job.
Keith, anything else you want to say to anybody or comments or anything?
No, I guess, look, the biggest thing, I've had this conversation tonight about Portland. I have to move on from it because I can't keep answering the same questions on it. I played for them. I will never, ever disrespect somebody that's given me an opportunity and treated me with respect. I'll go down there and get abused by the fans when we go down as a team, happily, because I'm a part of Seattle. I will cheer when Seattle win. I will be delighted when we beat them. But that doesn't take away anything from my past, and I will never do that. And anybody that does that is not someone I want to be with, in any way associated with. So
that's great. So you won't hear from us.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be talking to you. We'll be interviewing you maybe in like December, the middle of December, when we're
I like that
we're
idea.
raising a cup or two, for the end of the year here. But as soon as you start scoring goals, then we're golden. So I'm not sure. But Keith, thank you for coming out and spending your time. Man. I know you have to. You got to get out of here, but you are.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me, and anytime you guys need anything,
good.
You can tweet me. I'll always be open to chat.
Okay,
nice,
great.
Man.
Well, thank you all. Everybody watching, we're working on a couple of guests coming up in the next few weeks. But tonight, thank you, Keith, again for coming out and joining us on SonarFeed.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you very soon.
See you next week.